Hey guys, Sean here. Very quick video about something I never want to make a video about. Guys, I can't recommend Gigabyte anymore. The simple reason is their product line has gone so far down. Let me explain. I have a rule in what I do. If I get one failure, I'll chalk it up to, okay, this was just a defective component. If I have two failures or two runs of issues with a product or a product line, I question it. If I can research the product or product lines and find issues, then I begin to question. This is one that I have to question. For years, I've used Gigabyte boards in computers. I've used Gigabyte graphics cards with no failures. However, about 3 months ago, I built two PCs for work based on an i7-10700 with the stock cooler. And I know that was kind of a stupid mistake. I'll never do that again. 16 gigabytes of RAM, 500 gig, crucial P5 SSDs. Those SSDs were phenomenally fast. What else? I'm trying to think of the specs of that system. Like a 600 watt EVGA power supply built in a thermal take case that I really enjoyed building in. In fact, I have since said that I'm going to be building all of our systems in that case if I can do it. So that's out of the way. Let me discuss the issue. Both instances were caused by the Gigabyte motherboards that I used. I used the Gigabyte B460M DS3H, I believe. And the issue I ran into with these boards, I selected these boards for two reasons. I wanted a board that had a B460 chipset, and I wanted a board, and B460, the reason I wanted that is because B460 is a corporate stable chipset. I want nothing but corporate stable. I'm not building RGB. I'm not building gaming systems. These systems are built for professional production. We are selling these systems to churches who need systems to run ProPresenter. So I'm building the best of the best without spending more than about $1,300 per system. The issue comes into this. One of the things we're doing is I've been using the Intel built-in graphics into the 10th gen and pretty soon the 11th and 12th gen iGPUs and the Intel i5 and i7 CPUs. I've got a mixture of i5 10500K, 10400K, and 10700K out there. Or, no Ks, just 10500, 10400, and 10700 right now. I think I may even have one 11700 system out there. And I've been using the Asus boards, but for some reason I could not get the Asus corporate stable board that I'm used to using. So I bought the Gigabyte boards. They were in stock. They had a good price. They met the requirements. However, these two systems, based on every system I've built for the company, these two systems have been a thorn in my side. One of them is located in Montgomery, Louisiana. One of them is located in Columbus, Mississippi. Both times, it's these two systems. The one in Montgomery, I just had simple display issues. I managed to rectify the issue with BIOS updates and stuff. But the one in Columbus threw me for a loop. The system does an automatic overclock that I'm not a fan of. I wish Gigabyte would give a simple option to disable this in the BIOS, but they don't. When I emailed Gigabyte about how to turn this off, they literally said, "You're an idiot, learn how to build computers." Well, to my response, I do know how to build computers. I've built probably 500 computers in my lifetime. I'm pretty sure I know how to build computers. And I've used Gigabyte boards in the past. I'll go over that in just a second. So my response then was, okay, fine. I'll figure it out myself. I got around it. And the other thing I did was on that one system I was having the issues with thermals, I put a Hyper 212 Black Edition on that system. That improved thermals a lot. So that's kind of my cooler go-to at this point is Cooler Masters Hyper 212. I really like that cooler, by the way. If you're looking for a great cheap cooler, Hyper 212 Black Edition and Hyper 212 RGB Edition are really nice coolers. They're $50 for RGB, $40 for non-RGB. It's a great deal. I'm not here to talk about that cooler. One of the things that happened is I updated the BIOS on that system, ended up having to roll it back for this one reason. For some reason, when I updated the BIOS, the HDMI port on the board became non-functional. I would have to boot loop the system, unplug and plug in the HDMI. I changed the HDMI cable. Maybe my HDMI cable magically went bad. Maybe we rolled a cable card or something over the HDMI. No, HDMI was fine. The computer's the motherboard's HDMI port magically stopped working. When I rolled back the BIOS, it fixed the HDMI issue. The one in my other computer, and you got to realize I'm based out of Shreveport. So every time these computers break, I have to go to either Columbus or I have to go to Montgomery to fix these systems. It should not be like this. Gigabyte should learn how to make a stable product. After I had the issue with both of these computers, I then went online and started researching Gigabyte. And I found out that they have their power supplies that are blowing up in people's computers. And what does Gigabyte do? Well, we'll just send you another one. They get the new one in. Same thing. It blows up. Gigabyte then says, we're not responsible. These people are just abusing these power supplies. If we're putting them in our computer to run a under the rated load on the system, they should not blow up ever. So you have a company who's asserting their responsibilities onto the customer. They're making us the victim. So why would I, in my measures, recommend a product, or recommend a company even? Why would I recommend Gigabyte at this point? Give me one reason why I would recommend Gigabyte. I don't even like the Aorus stuff. I can't even trust it because guess where Aorus comes from? It's a Gigabyte product. And if Gigabyte's asserting their responsibility on their own products, then we should never buy them. We should put Gigabyte out of business. By the way, if you're wondering what board I've used before, I've used the Asus B460MA corporate stable model, and that's been an excellent board. I've got maybe 4 systems out there right now that have that very board in it. They are stable. I'm not having the display issues. I'm not having the overheating issues. But the second I use these 2 Gigabyte boards, we had overheating issues out of one, display issues out of both. This is unacceptable. And when I go online and see that other people are having problems with other Gigabyte products, it tells me that we should never use anything that has the word Gigabyte on it. And then on top of that, to see their customer support horror stories, this is unacceptable. Gigabyte, if you are watching this, assume responsibilities for your faulty products, issue replacements, fix the products, fix your company's reputation. So that's why I literally cannot recommend Gigabyte as a company. They assert responsibilities, they make the customers the victim, and most damningly of all, they go into public press releases and say, well, it's not our fault that the customer doesn't know how to use the product. I'm a system builder who's built over 500 computers. I should know how to use the product. I should know what the BIOS settings in the motherboard should be. I should know how to put the processor on the motherboard. I should know how to plug in a power supply. I should know how to judge the rated load of a power supply. But guess what? Gigabyte thinks we're incapable and even called me an idiot to my face when I approached them about the problems I was having with both of these motherboards. So, sorry. If you come to me for a recommendation, I guarantee it will not be Gigabyte. And Gigabyte, if you are watching this video, for the love of God, fix your product, make it right, get right with your customers. Don't call them idiots and fools when your product is to blame and not my building skills. So, everybody, thank you for watching. If you're looking for a product recommend, I'd recommend Asus, ASRock. MSI has come a long way. I'm kind of getting to where I can recommend them. But for sure, Asus and ASRock. My personal system has an Asus board. My wife's computer has an Asus board. My parents' computer has an Asus board. I've got several Asus boards in both our financial PC at work, and all of the PCs except for these two that I've built have Asus boards, and every one of these systems are rock stable. So, and one time, Gigabyte even said when I emailed them about the overheating issue that I was having out of this one particular system, they said, oh, this is fault of Intel. They sold you a faulty chip. Really? The two CPUs I received had serial numbers within 5 digits of each other. So they're off the same batch, off the same line. How did my CPU be faulty? When I can plop it in another board and it work, and the overheating issues go away. So, sorry Gigabyte, you lied there too. So, if you're looking at Gigabyte or AOR's products, I cannot begin to recommend them. They are terrible. Their customer support is terrible. They throw their customers under the bus. They throw their distributors under the bus. And most damningly of all, I've watched them throw their retailers under the bus. So, thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or you know more about the story that is unfolding with Gigabyte and their faulty products, feel free to leave me some comments, put me into some press releases. Let's get Gigabyte straight. Because let me tell you something, guys. I've got a Gigabyte 990 FXA UD3 motherboard in my closet with an AMD FX 8350 processor on it. That board to this day still posts. And it was rock stable from day one. Current Gigabyte stuff, not so much. So, thank you guys for watching. I wanted to drop this video on you guys so y'all know the state of what I'm dealing with the Gigabyte. From here on, we'll be using Asus, some ASRock, and mostly Asus and MSI. MSI has come a long ways. I really could say that I recommend some various MSI products. They've come a long way. When I built my wife's first PC, it actually had an MSI board in it, and it was perfect. It was rock stable. The first PC that she had was a Dell, and then I built her the PC with the MSI board. Then now she has the Asus board with my old Ryzen 2600, because I got a new Asus board with an Intel 10600K. I forget what that thing is, but yeah, Asus boards, they're rock stable.
You're right.
So I either got the 10600K or the 10400. I can't remember. I think it's the 10. I don't think I got the 10400. I think I got the 10600K.
It's the 10400.
Yours is the 10400.
Yeah.
Mine's the 10600K. So I could just highly recommend Asus. The boards, every Asus board, I've had one come in defective, and when I emailed Asus about it, they pointed me back to Newegg real quickly. Even contacted Newegg and said, hey, he's calling for an RMA. Between Asus and Newegg, they switched my board and overnighted me a different board that was stable. So I can recommend them. They don't throw their customers under the bus as far as their products. Asus PCs, I'm kind of poo-pooing them, but the Asus components, they're excellent. They work. Asus graphics card. My wife has an Asus RTX 2060. It's rock stable.
Really well with mods.
Yeah, she's loving it because her Minecraft mods don't lag and all that. I might do a rig update for both of our rigs at some point. My rig is actually a very interesting rig. I've got the 10600K, and no, it's not the F. I had to get the K because if I got the F, this wouldn't work. I'm actually running a Tesla K20 in my system for my compute GPU, and it actually works out really well. I've got it in WDDM mode. I flashed the firmware. It's actually really awesome. It works great. It's not near as fast as that RTX 2060 my wife has, but hopefully pretty soon I'll get another GPU that will be close to her 2060. So yes, as far as Gigabyte, nope, I'm done with them. They've burned me. I watched them personally burn not Kyle.
Messed up my mom too.
I've watched them burn Gamers Nexus. I watched them burn Jace 2 Cents. I watched them burn Linus. Their product is terrible. I cannot recommend this product. Thanks for watching. If you have comments, leave them down below. Bye, everybody.